there will be a new process for renewing your driver's license in Ohio. Nelsonville's new entertainment tax isn't sitting well with the locals. And in sports, the Ohio women's basketball team is getting ready to tip off in just a few minutes. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
A new tax in Nelsonville is causing some controversy. Good evening, I'm Josh Gregory. Thanks for joining us. Last night, we told you about the passage of a new entertainment tax in Nelsonville. WOUB's Nate Busilla has more on how much money the city will get from the tax and where that money will go.
The Stewart's Opera House is one of the region's most popular entertainment venues. Along with the Hocking Scenic Railway, these two businesses bring in and sell thousands of tickets from all over the area. The new tax will make that a bit more expensive, an extra 5% on all ticket sales over $10. Since the opening of the Route 33 bypass 5 years ago, Nelsonville has struggled to generate revenue. The money generated from this tax will go to the town's general fund for police, fire, roads or sidewalks, essential town needs. It is estimated at least $50,000 would be collected per year from the tax. The tax failed last fall, but passed this week by a 4-1 margin, with one city council member resigning before the meeting and another abstaining because of conflict of interest. Councilman Ed Mash says he sees this tax like a processing fee for credit cards. Councilman Greg Smith said they wrestled over the question of taxing residents or services.
While the idea behind the tax is to bring in more dollars for the city, many people think that it will be detrimental for local businesses like Stewart's Opera House and the Hocking Scenic Railway.
And tourism is one of our key industries, and taxing something that we want to grow is not the right place.
This is one of the first times that we've seen tourism and visitor dollars really used for something that is a local need.
The tax will go into effect July 1st, and the first event that is expected to see this tax is the Great Train Robbery on July 5th. But the popular Nelsonville Music Festival in June will not be taxed this year. For WOUB, I'm Nate Busilla.
School events will not be subject to the new tax. Some environmental groups in Ohio are worried water quality protection for the Ohio River will be weakened. The Ohio River Valley Water Sanitation Commission usually sets pollution standards for the river, but this year they are expected to decide if they want to leave those standards up to the individual states that border the river. Each state would set its own guidelines for pollutants and wastewater discharges from factories and sewer systems. The Ohio River provides drinking water for 5 million people. A community forum about the topic of school safety will be held in Logan tomorrow. This after schools in the Logan-Hocking School District closed Friday due to a threatening post on social media. The forum will be at 7 tomorrow evening in the Logan-Hocking Middle School Gymnasium. And the Hocking County Sheriff's Office announced last night Deputy Ross Cowgill will now serve as a school resource officer in 3 Hocking County elementary schools. The state of Ohio turns 215 years old tomorrow. It was founded on March 1st, 1803, and the State House has planned events starting today that will run through the weekend to celebrate. There is an exhibit, a film showing, and on Sunday from noon to 3, a free birthday party.
Good evening, I'm Taylor Nimmo. Now, it was a pretty nice day today, temperatures reaching the 60s, but it was a little overcast compared to the sun and blue skies we saw yesterday. But let's take a look at, throughout our night tonight, we're going to see a chance of showers continue for the entire evening into tomorrow. 8 o'clock, it'll be 52 degrees, 40% chance of rain, but it's going to remain light and variable throughout the evening tonight. 10 o'clock, 51 degrees, and at midnight, it is also, we're not dropping, we're staying in the 50s, but as we move into tomorrow, that's when we're going to see the heavier rain come in, and we were expecting some of that today, but we're not going to see it until tomorrow and maybe even a little bit on Friday. But around the region right now, we're seeing mid-50s, 55 in Newark, 55 in Athens, 54 in Ripley, so we're in about the mid-50s, and we're not going to see those temperatures drop too much throughout the evening, but we'll have your full weather update coming on later on in the show.
Not looking forward to the rain, but we're pretty used to it here in Southeast Ohio. Thanks, Taylor. The Appalachian Regional Commission reports it supported 55 projects in West Virginia, totaling nearly $19 million in the 2017 fiscal year. ARC says the efforts trained or educated more than 1,300 students and workers and helped create or retain almost 1,100 jobs. It spent around $7 million for business strategies, $5.3 million on education, and $5.1 million on infrastructure. No charges have been filed after and in the suspected fatal overdose of a 3-year-old girl. This after her 2-year-old sister was hospitalized from an overdose just 2 days before. Authorities say Minnie Mae Riley and her family were visiting relatives in Akron when she and her sister overdosed in the same house. The girls are the second and third toddlers who have suffered a suspected overdose in Akron in 5 days. Police are investigating the cause of the overdose. Amazon will not be housing its second headquarters in Cincinnati. Ohio economic development officials say the city lost its bid because it does not have enough tech workers. According to the Cincinnati Enquirer, Amazon officials say tech talent and Cincinnati's poor transportation infrastructure contributed to the loss of its bid. The Regional Economic Development Initiative in Cincinnati says it will work on its tech pipeline. Majority Stoneman Douglas students return to school today. Their emotional reactions when Newswatch returns.
We are here for the same reason, although I suspect we hope for different results.
You know what they say, yeah, the wicked get no rest.
I do not admire you for this.
Looking at my heart, in a place,
It's always sex, isn't it?
got so much to lose.
Love.
So much to prove.
Poor judgment.
We're not amused.
God. Trouble on my left, trouble on my right. I've been facing trouble on my side.
This is how you'll be a man.
Are you becoming squeamish?
Oh, God, your mother's here.
The lesbians. They're getting married. You're having a great time.
God, don't let me lose
Yes.
my mind.
Come and play with us.
Onward and onward!
Good ideas open up a whole new world of possibilities.
The more you know about history, the more you know about yourself.
The sky is the limit.
Where I go, there you are.
White House Communications Director Hope Hicks is resigning. This after Hicks testified to the House Intelligence Committee yesterday and admitted that she occasionally has to tell lies for President Trump. It's unclear what her next job will be. Hicks is 29 years old. Majority Stoneman Douglas students went back to school today with the memory of the 17 who were killed 2 weeks ago fresh in their minds. Meanwhile, businesses and lawmakers across the country are debating what, if anything, to do in response. Kristen Holmes has the latest.
The morning began with a 17-second moment of silence, 1 second for every life lost at Marjory Stoneman Douglas 2 weeks ago.
Those 17 people were our friends. We knew them, and it's important that we don't forget them.
Emotions high.
The range was like a roller coaster.
As students resumed classes for the first time since the horrific shooting, for a return that was anything but normal.
My English teacher, she was grazed by a bullet. She showed us her wound. She talked about what happened, and I think it's important that we all talk about it.
With heightened security and hallways filled with grief counselors and emotional support dogs, students began the morning in fourth period, the classroom they were in when the massacre took place.
It started to hit us more. We started to go back into those same places and think that we were here.
A day the principal said was focused on compassion rather than curriculum. Students honoring those killed, flowers placed on their empty desks. The Parkland shooting reigniting the gun control debate, students pleading with Congress and President Trump for change. While the government seems stalled on the issue, one major gun retailer is taking action. Dick's Sporting Goods announcing it will no longer sell assault-style rifles, like the one used in Florida, and it will no longer sell guns to anyone under 21.
If these kids are brave enough to organize and do what they're doing, then we should be brave enough to take this stand, and that's what we've done.
I'm Kristen Holmes reporting.
This isn't the first time Dick's Sporting Goods has taken action after a mass shooting. The company suspended the sale of assault rifles in 2012, but started selling them again at its specialty store Field & Stream shortly after. Chief Executive Edward Stack says the changes this time will be permanent. Varicose veins are often considered a cosmetic nuisance, but new research in the Journal of the American Medical Association says they may be a warning sign of underlying stress. Mary Maloney has more in today's Health Minute.
Nearly a quarter of adults in the United States have varicose veins. Enlarged and gnarled veins generally are caused by pregnancy or blood vessels weakening with age. But new research shows a link between varicose veins and deep venous thrombosis, or DVT, a potentially deadly clot that forms deep in the body, typically in the lower leg or thigh. Doctors in Taiwan studied the health records of nearly 213,000 patients with varicose veins and an equal number of patients without. They found patients with varicose veins had a 5 times greater risk of developing deep vein thrombosis, as well as higher rates of clotting in the lungs and a narrowing of peripheral arteries. More research is needed on whether varicose veins cause the dangerous clots. In the meantime, talk to your doctor about treatment options. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
Right now, if you need to renew your driver's license in Ohio, all you have to do is walk into the Bureau of Motor Vehicles with your old ID and leave with a new one. But the BMV announced today they will be joining 41 other states issuing IDs by mail. Newswatch reporter Michaela Marshall has more.
Don Pettit, the registrar at the Ohio BMV, says this change is meant to keep Ohio in line with the national trend of how states provide driver's licenses. 41 states have adopted this policy of sending IDs via mail. Starting on July 2nd of this year, all Ohio IDs will be issued from a single central point of production in Ohio. This will allow for more security. Essentially, if you need to purchase an ID or renew an old one, you will leave the BMV with a temporary paper confirmation, and in about 10 days, your new ID will be sent in the mail.
Currently, the customer would leave with the plastic card. If you're a customer who already had your temps, your temp card would be marked by us and handed back to you also so that you would have the plastic card. But if you're coming in to get your temps, you would have to wait for that first card to arrive in the mail, generally, again, in about 10 days.
Many Ohio residents expressed concern for this change on the BMV's Facebook page, calling it a stupid idea. The president said they felt sending the ID through the mail doesn't provide better security, but actually makes it easier for identity fraud. There was also concern that they would now have to pay more for postage. Pettit argues this is the safest way to issue driver's licenses, and there will be no additional cost to the customer.
And, the companies that do this, they've adopted practices of, putting it in plain envelopes and having it mingled into other mail so that it doesn't stand out, that it's specifically, hey, this is a driver's license.
Pettit also discussed that the new IDs would look differently to reduce the ability for someone to make a counterfeit ID.
With the new process, the card is going to be created in a secure print factory environment where there are multiple machines that put the card together in multiple layers with some of the security features embedded.
He also said that Ohio will now offer both standard and compliant IDs. He also said that Ohio will now offer both standard and compliant IDs. Pettit says this change is so Ohio can get ahead of a national travel security requirement going into effect in October 2020. This new requirement means a standard ID will not be enough to get through TSA. Having a compliant ID will allow travelers to get through security with a single ID and no further documentation. But with a standard ID, travelers will also need to show a passport or social security card before getting on a plane. For WOUB News, I'm Michaela Marshall.
Only 9 other states do not use this system. Artists and environmentalists are teaming up. See what material they're creating paint out of. That story's still ahead.
And rain is in the forecast overnight and into tomorrow, but don't cancel your outdoor weekend plans just yet. We have your full weather forecast up next.
I don't mind saying it.
Now you look like an astronaut.
My dream is to walk on the moon.
2, 1.
Look at this place.
It's a crazy design.
It's nearly impossible.
What is the next step toward furthering our presence in the cosmos?
That was something.
Oh, this is incredible.
Very, very scary.
Reality is always more unbelievable than anything we could have imagined.
We're literally on the cutting edge.
Unreal.
How's it going, everybody? I am Nick Niehaus, the host of Hardwood Heroes. Be sure to keep up with us all season long. We have action to cover, and all 18 teams of ours are ready to ball out. We will have action for you on Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat, so make sure to always be on the lookout. Our shows are only once a week, but the action is almost every day. So make sure to keep up with our YouTube channel to see nightly recaps with our 2 online hosts. We will be your guide through the crazy world of Tri-Valley Conference basketball, so be sure to stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Hari Srinivasan from the PBS NewsHour.
And I'm Mark Brewer from WOUB.
Join me on PBS NewsHour and PBS NewsHour Weekend for the latest news and analysis of the issues that matter most to you.
Weeknights at 7 p.m. and Sundays at 5 right here on WOUB Public Media.
Good evening, I'm Taylor Nimmo. Now, it felt pretty nice today in Athens. We reached about the 60s. Right now, we're sitting at 55 degrees, and it's cloudy, and showers are possible for the rest of the evening. Now, the showers that we're going to be seeing tonight are going to be light compared to tomorrow. But first, let's take a look around the region. We're in the mid-50s all around the region, 54 in Chillicothe, 55 in Athens, 54 in Marietta. We're seeing about the same story. Overcast skies and mid-50s. It's feeling pretty nice outside, pretty cool evening. But as we look at our almanac for today, high of 58, low of 48. We're a little bit above average. Got to see some of those warmer temperatures. Normal low of 28, but our records 2000, high of 76, and in 1950, record low of 10 degrees. We do have some chances of showers, like I said, for tonight, and that's going to increase as the night goes on. As we see about 8 and 10, those are just going to be some light rain chances. But as we go midnight, that's when the showers are going to intensify into tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be seeing those heavier thunderstorms, so you want to make sure you prepare for that tomorrow. Overnight lows, we're not going to see the temperatures drop too much tonight into the upper 40s, but nothing too extreme. 48 in Athens, 49 in Marietta, 48 in New Lexington, 48 in Cambridge, so we're not going to see too much change overnight other than the rain we're going to be seeing. Now here, let's take a look. This is today. We see this green. That is what is going to be moving through the area tomorrow. We're right on the edge of it right now with that low pressure. We also have a cold front headed in our way, but that is going to be tomorrow when we see more of those heavier rain showers. And this is where it's going to move through. As you can see, it's completely taking over Ohio tomorrow, along with that low pressure and the cold front, making things cool down a little bit over the weekend. But tomorrow morning, your day planner, we have 9 o'clock a.m., Make sure you bring your rain jacket with you tomorrow. You're gonna need it. But by the time you're headed home from work at about 4 o'clock, that's when the thunderstorms are really gonna be strong. But the temperature is gonna be in the higher 50s, so it's not gonna feel too bad. But take a look. Tomorrow and Friday, that's when we're going to see our rain chances. Friday, very slim chance, but we still have partly cloudy skies. But take a look at that sunny weekend. We do have temperatures in the 20s for our lows, but it's looking like a sunny weekend. Sunday, you can't have a Sunday without some sun. And as we go into the earlier week, we are going to be seeing maybe even some chances of snow on Wednesday. But other than that, looking forward to this weekend, Josh.
Me too, Taylor. Thanks a lot. And bright orange water in southeastern Ohio streams could soon be less of a problem in the state. Tomorrow, a team of water engineers, artists, and environmental activists are going to release one way to help deal with the problem: iron-based paint that will be sold online. Lauren Ramoser has the story.
Acid mine drainage causes the bright orange color in many streams, like in this part of Sunday Creek in Corning. But the color of the water isn't the only issue.
Acid mine drainage has two main issues with water quality. One is the pH. It's generally acidic, so it's below 7. The pH here isn't so terrible, but the biggest issue at Corning is the amount of iron that's in the water.
In mid-December, a team of water engineers, artists, and environmental activists broke ground on a pilot project aimed at tackling the issue by building 3 big tanks. These tanks filter out the dissolved iron in the water, leaving behind iron sludge, which is then used to make paint. But to produce enough paint to finance the filter system, the team needs to go full scale, as master student John Timmons says.
In typical acid mine drainage, it's on average 2% of the weight is iron sludge. So this at the bottom here, there's still some suspended. It would take a while for it to settle. But this at the bottom here is really fluffy. You wouldn't get much pigment out of it. You would only get a very little amount of dry pigment that's usable. But when you have it at full scale with full stream, you'd be making a lot more than this.
Full-scale production could also bring not only environmental benefits, but economic ones.
The economic benefit of this to the area would be, it would be significant. There are not a lot of opportunities out in this area and part of the county. So we're hopeful that we would be able to bring that economic value back to here, to Corning, to the place where it's been impacted for so long.
If sales of this special iron paint go well, the profit could pay for the treatment tanks to clean up acid mine drainage long term, not only in Sunday Creek.
Ohio, as a state entity, it can actually work with us to build a full-scale plant, and once that plant is running, the pigment should be able to be sold for enough of a profit that it will pay for the day-to-day running of the plant, and it will also pay for the employees to run the plant. Therefore, it shouldn't cost the state anything once the plant is up and running.
And this could mean an improvement for aquatic life and humans in Southeast Ohio or even elsewhere.
Good evening, everyone. We have a stacked sportscast, so let's get to it. First up, boys high school basketball playoff games are in full effect tonight. Find out which teams are facing off. And the Ohio women's basketball team is taking the court at the Convocation Center one last time for the season. Find out who the Bobcats are facing in tonight's matchup. All this and much more next on Newswatch.
Going on, Hardwood Heroes fans, I am your host, Nick Niehaus. We are the authority on all things Tri-Valley Conference, and we have all the content you need. Be sure to stay tuned across all of our platforms so you never miss any of the action.
I can't feel my face anymore.
You're doing good. You're just a little slow.
Welcome to madness.
I'm expecting the unexpected. The chicken feet really put me in a foul mood.
Join us for Family Ingredients Season 2.
Show me your mayonnaise, and I'll tell you who you are.
I can't wait to have a taste.
Now that's crispy.
Hello, I'm Paula Kerger, president of PBS. I'd like to tell you about a terrific new membership benefit called PBS Passport. With a qualifying donation, Passport brings more than 1,000 hours of great PBS and local programming to your computer, phone, or digital media player. You can catch up on shows you may have missed or revisit some of your favorites. The best part is that you can watch whenever you want. When you make your qualifying donation, you'll help to make all of the programs you love on this station possible, so don't delay. I know that you're going to love PBS Passport, so please make that donation right now. And thank you for your support.
Welcome back. I'm Kellyanne Stitz. High school boys basketball playoff games are in full effect tonight. Matchups include Waterford versus Sims Valley. Game time is set for 8 p.m. and Southern versus South Webster, with their game underway from a 6 p.m. start. Southern holds a 14-21 record for the season. Keep up with the action through Hardwood Heroes' Twitter account @Hardwood Heroes. And if you couldn't make it to the game, head over to woub.org/Hardwood Heroes for the recaps from tonight's games. Moving on to some college hoops, the Ohio women's basketball team hosts rival Miami for their last homestand of the regular season and senior night. These two teams met about a month ago, resulting in a loss for Ohio, so it's redemption time. Ohio is currently 15-12 overall and 9-7 in MAC play. Miami is currently 18-9 overall and 10-6 in the MAC. Ohio is also currently averaging about 67 points per game and solid on the defensive end, forcing 22.6 turnovers a game, leading the MAC. The game time is set for 7 p.m. tonight. On to the men's team. Ohio hosted Bowling Green for their last home game of the season and their senior night as well, and Ohio showed out accordingly, beating the Falcons 75-59. With the MAC tournament just around the corner, the Bobcats brought the offensive power with 5 players in double digits, including senior Mike Laster, who ended with 16 points and a career-high 7 assists. Ohio closes the regular season as they hit the road to face Miami again this Friday. Game time is set for 7 p.m. Some more highlights from last night's showdown. Jordan Dardis was presented with the commemorative game ball last night, becoming the 39th player in program history to reach 1,000 career points. The win also gave Coach Saul Phillips his 200th career win, and seniors Mike Laster, Sam Fryer, Kevin Mickle, and Antonio Bassetti graced the Convo with their presence one last time, going out with a win. From the court to the mat for some Ohio wrestling news. The MAC Championship pre-seeds were announced for the tournament this weekend. Some Bobcats on the pre-seeding list include junior Cam Kelly, seeded second for the 133 class, Cade Kowalski at third in the 149 class, Zach Parker in the third spot for the heavyweight class, Colin Cummings in fifth in the 157 class, and a few more adorn the list. That's all we have for sports tonight. Back to you, Taylor, with the weather.
Thanks, Kellyanne. Let's take one last look at our weather for this week. Tomorrow, remember, your umbrella is pretty much going to be your best friend. We are going to have some thunderstorms tomorrow in the afternoon, but take a look at your weekend. You're all sun, but we are going to see those temperatures drop, so make sure you grab your jacket this weekend and have a great weekend.
Thanks, Taylor. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.